Okay, a massive winter superstorm is headed for the East Coast, Northeast in particular. So, all of you who are in Boston or New York or DC or even Pittsburgh, get ready to get dumped on. You've probably already heard the reports in your local newscasts, and they're warning that there's going to be a massive, well, potentially a massive snowstorm, maybe 2 feet of snow in some areas. At least that's what I'm reading so far. So, you never know about these weather reports, whether they're going to pan out or not. These are obviously just modeling predictions, and sometimes the computers are wrong, or we should say they're not always accurately modeled. But nevertheless, I think this is a great opportunity for you to practice some preparedness. So use this storm as a trial run for the much bigger event that's going to hit the fan economically one day in America. So let's talk about preparedness and what you can do. Number one, obviously, you need to have all the basics ready to go. So if there's a snowstorm, it's probably going to shut down many roadways and many highways. So you're not going to be able to get to the store, perhaps, or the Costco for you to load up. So you need to do all of this ahead of time. You ought to have some basic supplies, obviously food and water, but also some communications. What if the power grid goes down? What if a tree covered in snow falls on your local power lines and cuts off power? That's likely to happen somewhere in this region if there's the snow that they're predicting. So some people will be without power, and historically we've seen in these storms that some people are without power for 2 weeks sometimes. Sometimes it's just a couple of days, but it can be much longer. So what would you do if you had no power for 2 weeks? You know, dang it, you can't post on Facebook anymore without that power. Yeah, but you'd also be getting, pretty hungry maybe if you have an electric stove, right? And you can't heat up food. So how are you going to boil water? How are you going to cook some food? What if the tap water doesn't work? Do you have some water set aside for you to drink and maybe to do some basic bathing? I know it takes a lot of water. Some of you people use 100 gallons in one shower, so you might want to take shorter showers or something. Take a sponge bath. That actually uses very little water in an emergency. Nevertheless, without joking around too much, you need to take this as a test run. So cover your food water situation, but have a way to boil water and cook food that does not rely on the local power grid. Now this takes some thinking. You could have a camp stove that you use outside. It might not even be legal in your area. You might not even have a yard. You might live in an apartment, and you don't want to use a camp stove in an apartment and burn down the building. Your neighbors won't like that, especially the ones above you. The ones below you, they won't like the water damage either after the fire department gets there. So don't burn your apartment building down with an open flame. Do think about how you could heat up something. Now, I'm not recommending this, but I've known people who have done this. They have little, very, very tiny camp stoves with those little tiny fuel pods. It's like compressed gas. I guess it's like propane gas that's in a little canister. And there's just one little tiny burner, and they have a little pot. And they use this when they're camping. And some people have used these in their own apartments, watching the flame, making sure everything's safe. Again, I'm not recommending you do that, but in an emergency, some people have done that, and they've done it safely. Just, again, if you were to do something like that, obviously don't leave the flame unattended, especially if you have children around who like to knock things over. And hey, what children don't like to knock things over? That's practically why they exist, right? If you've got kids, you know what I'm talking about. So that's a last-ditch plan that I don't recommend, but you could use it. You're also going to need communication, so have a radio, like a wind-up radio or a battery-operated radio, obviously, and you're going to need some sources of light. Now, LED flashlights are ubiquitous today. You can get them everywhere. I like the Phoenix brand. Also, I like the E2D LED Defender from Surefire. I've had one of those for many years as well. That's an expensive light, but it's a tactical light, very reliable, and it uses these CR123A batteries, which are lithium. I think they're 7.2 volts, and they are fantastic, long duration. So make sure you have some good lights and lots of batteries for them. I always like to go with lithium batteries. I don't buy flashlights anymore that run on alkaline, AA, AAA, that garbage. I buy lights that run on the lithium batteries, specifically the 18650 batteries, which are larger than 2 of the CR123As. And those flashlights are very reliable, and you can recharge those lithiums with a correct charger. Check out the brand called Nitecore, Nitecore. I've had good success with those batteries and those chargers so far. Nitecore, that's been good so far. Let me see. I'm looking at my batteries here to see if I have any other recommendations. Well, make sure you have not just one flashlight, but multiple, because you're going to need to have backups in case something fails. Now, let's talk about self-defense and personal security. The good news is that thieves normally hate working hard and trudging through the snow with plasma TV screens. So usually in a snowstorm, it's not a situation where there's a lot of thieves running around. That's good. That's good. But just in case, you should think about security for your home. If you're in a city, physical security is very, very important. Have more than just an old flimsy doorknob and a door jamb between you and the outside world. You might want to shore up that situation with a bar that you wedge against the doorknob. A bar that reaches all the way down to the floor. It prevents your door from being kicked in. You might want to double check the locks on your windows. Just do some basic things. You might want to put another bolt lock on your door or reinforce your door jamb. There are some products online you can buy that are metal plates that you essentially drill into your existing door jamb, and it makes them virtually impossible to kick in. Because that's what thieves like to do. They just like to kick in your doors. And of course, if it's legal in your area, you might also just have a shotgun waiting for them. They kick it in, you pull the trigger after you identify the target. That's one solution if it's legal, obviously. Many places that I mentioned, Boston, New York, D.C., probably not going to be legal. So abide by the local laws and do what you're comfortable with. I don't know, here in Texas, we don't even get snowstorms where I am, but up in Dallas they do. And we don't have a problem with people kicking in doors after storms because they all get shot. Kind of solves that problem real quick. All right, but anyway, on personal defense, definitely have a knife, not even for defense necessarily, but just as a utility knife. You might need it. You might need to cut something. There's a lot of things you might need to do. And if you allow me to plug my own product here, check out rangergear.com. We've got a really great multifunction shovel where every section of the shovel handle unscrews. It's all metal, and each section has a different tool inside, including like a wood saw or a fire starting device, or a whistle, a screwdriver, and the shovel itself can be used to chop wood or something else, zombies, whatever you need. maybe a zombie is kicking in your door, and you just need to take out the zombies. So, shovels are good for that, or flamethrower, whatever you happen to have in the closet, bazooka, whatever. Anyway, rangergear.com is where we have these multifunction shovels. They're really good in a storm because you can also, of course, dig your car out of the ditch with it as well. Anyway, so make sure you have all these tools available and make sure you beat the crowds. Don't be one of these suckers that's waiting in line at the store last minute. Oh, yeah, the storm's only 4 hours away. And, I got a shopping cart with some bottled water in it. And then people are fighting you for the bottled water. That's mine. You're hoarding the water. You got the last bottle. You have to give. I should do that with a New York accent, right? You bought the last cup of coffee. What are you doing? That's my coffee. Give it over here, pal. All right, sorry. That's my cartoon New York voice, and I don't mean to demean New Yorkers. I love New Yorkers. I'm not going to do the Ted Cruz mistake of New York values. I actually like New Yorkers. So I like to use cartoon voices from time to time to keep things kind of fun. I do a Texas voice too. You heard that earlier, right? You heard Texas. We're getting a storm down in Texas. Yeah. When that cloud comes overhead, we just shoot it out of the sky with a 12 gauge. All right. Enough cartoon voices. Think about emergency medicine. Now, sorry, I've taken up too much time with the fun, but emergency medicine, you're probably not going to be able to get to the hospital. So if you do have medications like insulin, make sure you have a good steady supply of that and that you have a way to keep insulin cool if the electricity goes out, because if insulin does not stay cool, it loses its effectiveness. Not a good thing. Also, remember that if you injure yourself, you cut yourself with a chainsaw again, then you're not going to be able to get to the emergency room probably. Or if you have a fire, the fire department might not be able to even reach you. So make sure you have a fire extinguisher, kind of a good idea anyway, and make sure it actually still has pressure in it. That's also another handy thing. Have some basic sanitation, like povidone, iodine, first aid type of things. Essential oils are really great for this. So if you have a cut or a puncture wound or even a burn, you have some ways to treat that yourself if you can't get to the hospital. Practice some self-reliance. It's a good opportunity to do that. Of course, if you have lots and lots of snow, then you have a water source from the snow as long as you have a heat source to melt it. And you can keep the insulin cold by packing it in snow, right? Or I don't know if you want to freeze it, probably not, but you could moderate the temperature with some snow, keep it cooler than room temperature. So, put it on the windowsill or whatever works for you. It'd be good to have a little thermal laser temperature sensor, actually, to monitor the temperature of that. I have one for my chickens. I got to keep my newborn chickens at 37 degrees Celsius, because that's where they're comfortable. So I have one of those little laser temperature sensors. Anyway, use the storm, folks, to practice good preparedness and stay in practice and stay safe. And don't bet your life on being able to call 911 and having everybody show up to solve your problem. Fire, police, paramedics, whatever. They may not be able to help you, so plan on helping yourself, at least for that time period, if not forever. All right, thanks for listening. Let's see. Newstarget.com is the website. And if you do live in a city on the East Coast, you might want to check out bugout.news, because you should probably be getting out of there pretty soon, in my opinion, based on what's coming throughout this year. All right, take care. 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 Year. All right.